everybody, Jenny May here, and I want to talk to you about Tabatas. After all, I'm all about building the metabolism up without breaking the body down. And so Tabatas are a great way to do that if they're used correctly. Um, Tabata is a training principle where you take two exercises and you put them back to back, each for 20 seconds, and you repeat each exercise 4 times for a total of 8, and you're done in about 4 minutes. And so in the email I sent out on Monday, I talk about how it's great for really igniting the mitochondria in your cells, which is the powerhouse of your cell. It's the one that burns all the calories because it uses up all the energy. And how if you have more mitochondria and more of them functioning, you're going to burn more calories throughout the day and really ramp your metabolism up, which in the email that went out, it was all about increasing hunger, and igniting your mitochondria is one way to do that. Because remember, if you're hungry, you're burning fat. If you're not hungry, that's a red flag. You should always be a little bit hungry when you're trying to lose fat. So I want to talk a little bit about Tabatas because they're a great training tool, especially for fat loss. And the problem is that when they first started really getting used, and there's so many people in the fitness industry, and we have this idea that more is always better, right? So if one Tabata, which takes 4 minutes, is good, then if we do 20 minutes worth of Tabatas and do five of them, that's even better, right? But not necessarily true, especially after 40, because again, it's all about managing cortisol. Fat loss after 40, 50, 60, it's all about managing cortisol. And cortisol is your stress hormone, and it's always elevated when you're stressed, right? Too much exercise or exercise done incorrectly becomes stress. And so you want to use exercise and training in a way that it produces positive change in your body. When you factor in recovery and proper nutrition, it doesn't break the body down. 53% of people who start an exercise program get hurt. That's an alarming statistic. And that's because a lot of people, you look at all the workouts that are out there, most of them are designed for a 20-year-old body, maybe a 30-year-old body, where all the joints are really good. People haven't locked into a 40-hour work week or limited their range of motion. They haven't been injured yet. Their joints are barely even fused. So, it's easy. A lot of those movements are easy. But if you're 40 and just starting an exercise program and you're busy and you don't have a lot of time and you're sitting at a desk and now you got 20 minutes to try and figure out how to get something done, to jump into a workout that's not appropriate for your body is pretty much a guaranteed way to get hurt. And when we get hurt, we get set back, right? And then we need comfort food, and it just becomes this cycle. So one of the biggest secrets to being successful in your health and fitness journey after 40 is getting on a program that allows you to take consistent action forward in the right direction without the setback. Without having to stop and recover, without having to back down. So you don't want to do too much too fast. All right, so off my soapbox. Tabata. Tabatas are meant to be a 4-minute circuit. They're good to be done first thing in the morning all by itself. They're good to be done at the end of maybe a 30-minute workout as a finisher. You don't need to stack 5 Tabatas together for them to be effective. And in fact, it becomes less effective the more often you use it. So it's something that it's an easy way if you don't have time to fit in a lot of exercise. It's an easy way to light up your mitochondria, speed your metabolism up, increase the amount of fat burning you're going to do each day, and you can easily incorporate it in the morning. The trick to doing a successful Tabata is to make sure that the intensity is high enough and appropriate for you, and that the exercises are appropriate for you. So depending on your fitness level, you're going to scale your Tabata to the appropriate amount. Does that make sense? So maybe somebody's going to do squats and planks, or maybe somebody's going to march in place and do a chair plank, which I'll show you in a minute. Maybe you can jump rope for 20 seconds, and then someone else, you could do a renegade row for 20 seconds. And so I'll kind of walk you through a couple different scenarios that are good options. One of my favorite, I'm not going to jump rope because I'm on the second floor, but one of my favorites is to do jump roping or jumping jacks, as long as jumping is good for you. If you have sensitive knees, I would not jump. Okay, if you know that you get tight calves or you have weak ankles, I would not jump. So then these would not be appropriate for you, and the modifications I talk about next would be more appropriate for you. But doing jumping jacks, if I can stay in my screen, doing jumping jacks where you're jumping in and out for 20 seconds, or doing a jump rope for 20 seconds, you take that 10 seconds rest, or you can by the time you get down to do your plank or your renegade row. So I'm a huge fan of the renegade row, where you're here, you pull the dumbbell up, come back down, dumbbell up. And you're going to alternate back and forth for 20 seconds. And so really that 10 seconds rest is the time it takes you to transition from one exercise to the next. And you're going to repeat each exercise 4 times for a total of 8. And that's really going to ramp your metabolism up. So now if jumping is not your thing, then you can do something like squats, where you're just going to stand, squat in place. You can march in place, go elbow to knee. These are all good. If you have a healthy back, toe touches, reach for the ceiling, reach for your toes, right? You could stack any of these together. A chair plank. If you need to do a modified plank where hands are on the chair, if it hurts your wrist to be on your hands, then you do an elbow plank. That can be your alternate 20 seconds. So those should give you some good ideas about exercises you can stack together for Tabata. The key to being successful with them is picking the exercise that's appropriate for you and at an intensity that's going to be high enough for you to challenge you. So the renegade rows and jump roping, or renegade rows and jump squats, like if you're a very fit person, that's a great place to be. If you need to modify it and do something that's a little bit lower intensity, then you're just going to scale it back. Even something as, squats to the chair, where you sit down, stand up for 20 seconds. You're going to come forward, transition to toe touches for 20 seconds. Even something that simple can be super effective when it's stacked as a Tabata. So if you have any questions, or you have any specific questions about what's appropriate for you, I'm here to help. Just, if you're a client, send me a text. You've got my info. If you're not a client and you're interested about learning more about what's appropriate for you, I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Here to help. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.